Glad to have you back on our channel. I believe that you're enjoying our channel. You've watched our first, second video, and you're back here today to get the third video. If you're actually enjoying it, I want you to subscribe and also like our page. Also share with your friends too. And in the last class we had, you've actually had your daydreaming exercise and you have spelled out your target goals. Now the next thing we're going to consider in today's class is decision making. So today we're going to make the decision of actually what we want, where we want to get to, and at the time we want to get there. So the decision is all ours. I'm going to make my own decision and then you will also make your own decision. So let's get down to the basics. Decision simply means what you decide or the resolution you get at after you have considered, you have weighed several options. That is to say, you have considered a lot of things, you have actually considered where you are at the moment after you've graded yourself, and then you have also considered where you want to get to through your daydreaming exercises, both in long term and short term. And then now is the time to make the decision for your life, for yourself, for your career, for your academic success, your exam success. So can you just take some few minutes and take the decision you want? But before you take that decision, I'm going to give us some steps you need to consider in taking decisions. Now, according to Robert Frost, he once said this, and I quote him. He said, "Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference." So the decision you make today, it's going to make all the difference concerning your academic performance. Now, we're going to take these steps for decision making the right decision, making a very good decision. We're going to take the steps one after another. So we have just 7, and we're going to do this according to Lucid chart. The first one we'll do is identify the problem. You've already identified where you are, and then you've also identified where you want to get to. So with these two in view, what actually is the problem? Why are you where you are? It could be possibly because you study and you do not understand. It could be possibly because you study and you forget. Whatever that is the issue, I just want you to identify the problem. That's the first thing. The next thing you're going to do is to gather relevant information, and the essence of this class is for you to gather some information, help you to propel to the next level. And then for 2 building blocks we've laid, I want to believe you've gathered some level of information that can help you. You've already seen where you are, and then you have also decided where you want to get to. Now, with these informations that you have gathered, the next thing you're going to do is to identify the alternatives. Now, what are the alternatives before me? Do I want to proceed and become the best in class? Do I want to proceed and have the best of results? Or do I want to relax and remain where I am? And then perhaps at the end of the day, I become a dropout, or I will not come out of school with the best results. So I want you to consider all these alternatives, and then you're going to make your choice afterwards. Then the next thing is weigh the evidence. We are still going to consider a lot of evidence surrounding this particular study pattern. I have my information. I want you to identify the alternatives. Now, you have several alternatives here. You have the alternative to become the best of students, to be among the high A students, or you could want to be among the low A students, or the B students, the C students, the D students, as the case may be. So you have several alternatives to choose from. But guess what? I want to believe that you would choose to be the best. So kudos and congratulations, because you're out to be the best. Now, the next thing I want you to consider among the steps is to weigh the evidence. Weigh what you want to decide on. Do you think it's worth taking? Do you think the decision you're about to take, it's worth taking? I want you to weigh these alternatives you have, and then once you have done that, choose among the alternatives. Choose between the high A, the low A, the B, the C. I want you to make the choice yourself. And once you have done that, you have already taken the decision of where you want to belong, and then the next thing you're going to do is to take action. Most often than not, when people take decisions and they do not take relevant actions immediately, they end up not accomplishing what they have decided to do. So once you have taken this decision, you're going to take the next step. Now, please take the step immediately. I'm going to give you some steps you will take, but for this class, it's all about decision. So the next one you will do after you have taken the action is to evaluate your decision. And then for this evaluation, I want you to consider your past. I want you to consider your future. I want you to also consider what results that other people are making around you. Evaluate what you have decided upon and see if it's achievable. But you know what? I know it's very much achievable. Now, when you have taken these 7 steps, I don't know, but I just feel like congratulating you because you're on your way to examination success. Irrespective of the exam in question, I bet you're going to make the best grade in your exams. And then we're going to go for break now. When we come back, I will share my story. Remember, I told you that I learned how to read after I received several strokes of the cane. When we come back, I'm going to share my experience with you. So, you're welcome back. I hope you have liked our page and then shared with your friends and also have subscribed. Now, I promise I'm going to tell us my story, how I took a particular decision that helped me through life. That was how I learned how to read. In my primary 3, I couldn't read. I think first term or thereabout, I couldn't read. And at that time, I was around 7 years. My teacher came to class one day and said it was reading time. Obviously, I thought we were going to read either chapter 1, or rather unit 1, unit 2, or unit 3. At that time, I had already crammed these 3 units. But she said, turn to unit, I think it was unit 7. So she will come to each desk. Then we used to be around 4 or 3 in each desk. So she will ask that text to read. And then as you're reading, she looks at our lips. And then she picks those that are reading very well and those that couldn't read. When she got to her own desk, I was among those that couldn't read. I was just following the lips of others to read. So she asked those that could read fluently to keep short. And then for me that couldn't read, and others that couldn't read as well, she would flog and flog. She flogged hell out of me. I felt so bad. I cried home, and when I got to the house, I couldn't share with my siblings. My parents weren't at home yet, and the worst of it is even to share with my parents that a teacher flogged you in school. They're not going to help you. Maybe to call the teacher or to get to school. They're not going to do that. So, and then I was the oldest or the eldest amongst my siblings, so I couldn't even share with them. They were really quite young at that time. I got home after my food, taking my lunch. I just went to the sofa. I couldn't even go to the bed. I went to the sofa and I slept. I cuddled myself there and then I slept off. I woke up afterwards and then asked myself, what exactly made this woman to flog me this way? And the response was that you couldn't read. So I told myself, you must learn how to read. I got to the dining table after asking those questions, brought out my reader, and the first thing that just came to my mind was, what are the major contents of our reader? And then I asked myself, I just said, can you write out 2-letter words that you know? And then I wrote several 2-letter words. I wrote on, O-N, I-S-Es, CO2. I kept writing 2-letter words, A-N-N, and then I wrote a lot of them. I asked myself, can you write 3-letter words? I wrote 3-letter words too, A-R-E-R, and some others, R-A-N, ran, R-U-N, run. And then after writing 3-letter words, including E-G-G, that's egg, I asked myself again, can you write 4? I wrote son in 4, and then I wrote very few in 5. And then I asked myself, already you know the spelling of Cindy, you know the spelling of salami, you know the spelling of Edet, those key persons, those key characters in our reader. So I said, then if you can spell these things, then you can read. I brought the reader. These words were the major words in it. I started reading. The ones I couldn't pronounce, I used the same way I called these ones I knew the spelling to try to pronounce them. My dear, that very evening, that was the day I started reading. I took the decision that day, and it made a whole lot of difference in my life. And from that day on, I started reading. I kept improving and improving. By primary 4, I was borrowing novels like there was nothing else to do. I would borrow from friends, I would borrow from my neighbors, and that was how I started reading. So now it's time for you to take this decision. You want to be the best. I took the decision that very afternoon/evening, and it brought me to where I am today. That was how I started reading, and from then I've been reading till date. Now you can also take the same decision. Your own decision may not be about reading. Your own decision may be about studying properly and making the best grades. I don't know the grades that the decision you have made over this academic success that I've been talking about, but whatever decision you make, I want to tell you that it is very, very possible to actualize it. If it worked for me, it's going to work for you. Imagine I was very young, very tender at the time I took that decision, and it worked for me. That very day, I started reading. It was really very light. I wasn't reading so much, but that very day, I started reading. Till date, I've not forgotten the name of that teacher. I'm not going to mention her name here, but that's to tell you the impact her cane did in my life, and I took a decision that have helped me to date. So I wish you the best. I want you to take the decision. You can share with us on the comment section, and whatever decision you have made today, I promise you it is very, very achievable. I achieved mine, and so you can also achieve yours. Thank you, and bye-bye. Remember to subscribe, remember to like our page, and also share with your friends. Thank you.